So now we're going to talk with Craig Gilbert, our Washington bureau chief. Craig, you have an analysis up this morning on jsonline.com that looks at what happened to the governor's campaign, and it uses the analogy of supply lines, that maybe the governor got too far ahead of the supply lines. Talk a little bit about what you're hearing this morning from the analysts and folks you've been talking to.
Well, I mean, this was something that some people inside the Walker campaign worried about. I had a conversation with one of his top strategists back in early July who said, you know, his mantra in the campaign was slow down, let's not get ahead of our supply lines. But that's what they ended up doing. They created a large campaign apparatus that they couldn't pay for when their polling numbers slumped and the money dried up. This was a pattern we've seen in other campaigns. It was repeated by Governor Walker. His problems were fundamentally bigger than that. He was, in the end, I think, an ineffective candidate. His brand was sort of uncompromising resolve. I know what I stand for, and the fact that he came across so often on the campaign trail as tentative and even, you know, changing his positions, appearing calculated to a lot of people, just completely undermined the image he was trying to project as a candidate.
So, Craig, let me ask you this too. And the governor, there's sort of a dichotomy with him out there that he finishes with, you know, pretty high approval ratings, relatively low disapproval ratings. Yet he was in the final poll from CNN. He has like an asterisk territory. What accounts for that in your mind?
Well, yeah, his potential, you know, kind of positives in this race were that he seemed to have the capacity to straddle different factions in the party, particularly the line between the establishment and the party's base, conservative base, but in the end he kind of ended up satisfying neither side and getting squeezed out in a very large field by other candidates who had a stronger claim to different kind of components of the party. So he was left without a niche, and even though his image remained pretty positive among Republican voters, there was no intensity, there was no passion, and he had no really dependable base of support in the end.